From a humble Corsican islander to the Emperor of France, his name echoes through history. Napoleon Bonaparte. How did one man rise so far, so fast, and change the face of Europe forever? Today, we're diving into the complete, epic story of one of history's most brilliant and controversial figures. Born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, as he was originally known, was the second of 8 children. His family were minor Italian nobility, but they were far from wealthy. At just 9 years old, he was sent to military school in mainland France. He was often teased for his Corsican accent and short stature, but he excelled in his studies, especially mathematics and history. He was a voracious reader, devouring books about great leaders like Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar. These early years forged a fierce ambition and a relentless drive to prove himself. The French Revolution was the spark that lit Napoleon's fuse. While the old order crumbled, the young, ambitious artillery officer saw an opportunity. In 1793, at the Siege of Toulon, his brilliant tactical plan recaptured the city from Royalist and British forces. This victory earned him a promotion to brigadier general at just 24 years old. He was a rising star. 2 years later, he saved the revolutionary government from a royalist mob in Paris with what he famously called a whiff of grapeshot, solidifying his reputation as a decisive and ruthless leader. His star continued to ascend with his command of the French army in Italy. Against all odds, he led a poorly supplied army to a series of stunning victories against the Austrians. He became a national hero. His secret, unpredictable tactics, incredible speed, and an ability to inspire unwavering loyalty in his men. And they called him the Little Corporal, a term of endearment, as he often fought alongside them in the heat of battle. But ambition is a hungry beast. In 1798, he launched a campaign in Egypt. While the initial military goals were murky, the expedition had a massive cultural impact, leading to the discovery of the Rosetta Stone and sparking a European fascination with ancient Egypt. Back in France, however, the political situation was chaotic. Seeing his chance, Napoleon rushed back to Paris. In 1799, through a clever and bloodless coup d'état, he overthrew the Directory and established himself as first consul of France. At just 30 years old, he was the most powerful man in the country. As first consul, Napoleon proved to be as brilliant a statesman as he was a general. He enacted sweeping reforms that modernized France. He centralized the government, reformed the banking and education systems, and, most famously, created the Napoleonic Code. This legal framework was revolutionary. It guaranteed religious freedom, abolished feudal privileges, and established that government jobs should go to the most qualified, not the most well-connected. Many of its principles are still the basis of civil law in countries all over the world today. He was building a new France from the ashes of the Revolution. In 1804, Napoleon's ambition reached its zenith. In a lavish ceremony at Notre Dame Cathedral, he crowned himself Emperor of the French. He didn't just inherit a crown. He placed it on his own head, symbolizing that he owed his power to no one but himself. This marked the beginning of the First French Empire. For the next decade, Europe became Napoleon's chessboard. He was a master of warfare. The Battle of Austerlitz in 1805, known as the Battle of the Three Emperors, is considered his masterpiece. He crushed the combined armies of Austria and Russia with brilliant tactics, cementing his control over the continent. Through a series of swift campaigns, he dissolved the 1,000-year-old Holy Roman Empire and redrew the map of Europe, placing his relatives and trusted marshals on the thrones of various satellite kingdoms. From Spain to Poland, the Napoleonic eagle cast a long shadow. But the higher you climb, the harder you fall. 2 major mistakes began to unravel his empire. First, the Peninsular War. His attempt to control Spain and Portugal turned into a bloody, years-long guerrilla war, a Spanish ulcer that drained French resources and manpower. Second, and most catastrophic, was the invasion of Russia in 1812, leading the Grande Armée, a force of over 600,000 men from all over his empire. Napoleon marched on Moscow. The Russians, however, refused to give him the decisive battle he craved. Instead, they retreated, employing a scorched earth policy, burning everything in their path. Napoleon captured a deserted and burning Moscow, but with no supplies, and the brutal Russian winter setting in, he was forced into a disastrous retreat. Starvation, frostbite, and relentless Russian attacks decimated his army. fewer than 100,000 men staggered back out of Russia. It was a turning point. Seeing his weakness, the nations of Europe formed a grand coalition against him. In 1813, at the massive Battle of Leipzig, also known as the Battle of Nations, Napoleon was decisively defeated. The Allied armies closed in on Paris, and in April 1814, Napoleon was forced to abdicate. His punishment: exiled to the tiny island of Elba in the Mediterranean. They thought they had him contained. They were wrong. Less than a year later, in a daring move, Napoleon escaped. He landed in France with a small band of followers, and the French soldiers sent to capture him instead rallied to his side, shouting "Vive l'Empire!" He marched triumphantly back to Paris without a single shot being fired, beginning the period known as the 100 Days. The powers of Europe were horrified. They immediately declared war, not on France, but on Napoleon himself. The final showdown came on June 18, 1815, on a muddy field in modern-day Belgium, the Battle of Waterloo. It was a close, brutal fight. For a moment, it seemed Napoleon might just pull off another miracle, but the timely arrival of the Prussian army sealed his fate. The French army was shattered, and so was Napoleon's dream. This time, there would be no second chances. The British exiled him to St. Helena, a remote, windswept rock in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean, thousands of miles from anywhere. His days of conquest were over. He spent his final 6 years there, dictating his memoirs, crafting his own legend for posterity. He died on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51. So, what is Napoleon's legacy? Was he a tyrant who plunged Europe into a generation of war, or a visionary leader who spread the ideals of the French Revolution? The truth, as always, is complex. His wars caused immense suffering, but his legal and administrative reforms had a lasting, positive impact on the world. He was a man of boundless ambition, a military genius, and a flawed but brilliant architect of the modern world. His story is a powerful reminder of how a single individual can shape the course of history. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through Napoleon's life fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most compelling figures. See you next time.